Your attention, please. I'd like to call a regular meeting of the City Council order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Brown to lead us in communication. Mr. Gwynn to lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, once again we come to you with grateful hearts, thanking you for an opportunity to be here to do business in the city of Kingston. We ask that you help us make those decisions that will please you and our constituents. Special prayer tonight for the Glenn family as they mourn the loss of Chase's grandfather. Be with that family as they go through this time of need. Be with each and every one of us as we part here tonight. Give us safe journeys on the way home. And every day we'll give you praise for your Son Jesus Christ who died on the cross.
Yes.
And all God's children said,
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Seaver. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll? Okay, so I want to open up the public hearing on budget amendment ordinances 2502-1101 and 2502-1102. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this budget amendment ordinance tonight? I'll keep the public hearing open for a little while in case someone does come in. Madam Clerk, now will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bradley.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Wayne.
President.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Ritter.
Present.
Mayor Daniels.
Present. Do we hear a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Motion.
Second. Motion second. Is any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
No, sir.
Anyone? Madam Clerk, call the roll on this, please.
Councilmember Bradley.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Wynn.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritter.
Yes.
Mayor Daniels.
Aye. It wasn't on the agenda, but I do have a proclamation for tonight, so I'll go ahead and read it. Whereas this year marks the 50th anniversary of the end of America's involvement in the Vietnam War, and whereas over 58,000 of more than 3 million men and women who served in the Vietnam War made the ultimate sacrifice, 1,295 of them were Tennesseans. Whereas 1,587 who served in the Vietnam War are still missing. And whereas as Americans, we will always honor the legacy of those who served our country, were wounded, or lost their lives in battle, and we can never repay our debt for gratitude for the courage they demonstrated. And whereas March 29th has been designated as Vietnam Veterans Day to honor those who served our country during this 20-year-long conflict. And whereas the city of Kingston is proud to be called home to many Vietnam-era veterans. And whereas because Vietnam veterans and their families gave much, asked for little, and deserve our utmost respect and dedicated support, the Southwest Point Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, and commemorative partner of the United States of America Vietnam War commemoration, and thus committed to recognize the service, valor, and sacrifice of our Vietnam veterans. Now, therefore, I, Timothy Neal, by virtue by authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kingston, in the state of Tennessee, in cooperation with Southwest Point Chapter of the National Society of American Daughters of the American Revolution, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2025 as the 50th anniversary end of the Vietnam conflict. If you please come up and do I'll move that. Well, I'll move the way it's on wheels.
Oh, okay. You're fine. I was trying to get the center. They're not going to be in the center. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Are there any Vietnam era veterans here? That'd be from the year 1955 to 1975? Didn't think so. Looking around. I don't think there's anybody old enough to. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Stacy Wilson would like to address the council tonight.
I'm sorry. Hey, guys. So I'm here to give you some updates on the Run Alliance. I'm Stacey Wilson with the Run Alliance. And first of all, I'm going to start with our new branding. It came out last week. And I said this was my baby project. We started this in November of 2022 with new print material, video, jingle, the whole 9 yards. I want y'all to look at the logo. So in the room, there's waves. We put the established year of 1801. Because if you asked a kid, I spoke to Rockwood High School, a group of students last week, they don't know what year that our county was founded. So that's important to me. And I really, really want to start a push with historical tourism. David and I have discussed this, so that's why I included that. The sun, the lake, the water, the mountains are what we're known for, what's Word 8. However, with the fort coming, I think it's really important that we include the historical part of it. And we made a special point to include each city in Rome County in everything we did. In Kingston, we used Maple Creek, she opened up for us. We used Lakeside Golf Course, the lake house we used was in Kingston. The fort, Jack brought in reenactors. I can't think of enough. It was hot. We filmed this summer. It was blazing hot, and I know those people were dying. But they graciously did this for us. So just take this and look it over, and if you've not seen it on the website, I'm happy to send. I'm really proud of it. The project's Win in Rome. Chad Wilson with Fairview Union, he writes jingles, he wrote our jingle, sang it, he and his wife. I just think it's really good, and I'm really proud of the finished product. So please look that over. So in the information that I gave you, we had a watch party Thursday night, and we had a great turnout, so you can look at it. I really like the logo with the black background on it too. I think it stands out a lot more. In your packet that I gave you, you'll see the President's Report. We have a lot going on with Run Alliance. So it gives an education and workforce update. Jennifer started an initiative called Connect Rome. And what it's doing is getting businesses and industry in the same room. That's the meeting last month. I attended it. It was fantastic. And Rome County Schools partnered with them on that, this TE program. So it's opening up a lot of doors for the kids. Next week will be in May. They're going to meet quarterly. If you all would like to attend, she'd love to have you guys to be part of this push. She's doing a great job with this. It's really good that she's been able to start this, and she's done that, and it's going very well. Lots of stuff going on. And then Industrial Park Run Regional, Justin has updated all of that. Rockwood, I'm part of a group called Middle East Tennessee Tourism Council, and Rockwood got some regional recognition that I was very proud of last week for their partnership getting the Rockwood Marina open, the sewer project, which opened, you all know, economic development depends on sewer. And they secured grant funding through the county, through the sewer department, and the city, and they got recognized regionally for it last week, and it's a phenomenal achievement. Dan Burnett is the developer of that. So that was a really shining moment for them last Friday. Let's see. The career fair is April 1st for Rome County Schools. If anybody can come, anybody wants to be part of it, let us know. We're happy to have you. We got a lot going on with the chamber right now. The ambassadors are growing. We're doing a surprise patrol every week. Some success from you spoke of the last time, the Taste of Holidays. We partnered with Kingston City on that. The chamber had 38 ribbon cuttings in 2024, and we look to beat that this year. So we have a lot going on in all areas of the Run Alliance. I invite y'all to come down anytime. I'm looking at getting our cleanup day. Suggestions are welcome on any area that we might want to do the riverline cleanup, and we're going to do a paddle in June. So if anybody wants to support that, again, we'll be happy to have your support. We're starting a new tourism advisory committee March 25th. So I had someone suggest it, and I think it's a great idea. It's something that's actually been on my goals sheet. Tommy, I know you've been invited to attend. If any of you all want to come, please come. We want a member from each Parks and Rec, each city manager, and a member of your council, so that we can all, from each city in Rome County, so that we know what's going on. Y'all can share with me, and I can share with you probably quarterly updates of everything we're doing. And I can hear you, you can hear me. We'll all be on the same page. So I'm really excited about this. I think we're going to have a very good result from doing that. And I think that's all I got. Oh, I've got a list of the tournaments. They start They're supposed to start Saturday in Rome County, but the weather was not our friend. We have a Bass Pro High School tournament. 150 boats, 2-man teams. We're gonna have a lot of visitors in Rome County this weekend, if the weather cooperates. We're already in talks of maybe having to reschedule. Hopefully we won't. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
Anybody got any questions for me? Mr. Bowe?
I have a question. I just want to protest the fact that I've been replaced as the kayak model on the billboards. I just want to throw that out there. So.
I'll have that changed tomorrow.
Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate the update. Anyone else wish to address the council tonight? All right. Seeing none, we'll go into reports. We'll start with, I don't have anything to report I can think of right now. So I'll start with Mr. Reader. Do you have anything to report?
No, sir.
Mr. Weaver?
No, sir.
Mr. Brown?
Everything's in the packet.
No,
Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
Mr. Bowley, it's on you.
So I have a couple things here. One, somebody asked me, and I don't remember exactly who, it might have been you, about property taxes before the workshop last week. So I wanted to give you an update on that, on our collections of this year's taxes. This is as of about noon today. Of our projection of $2,135,000, we've collected $2,078,472, with about $56,000 left unrealized. Of that unpaid, we have about $179,000 in real taxes, which means we only need 32% of our unpaid taxes to meet our projection, which is less than we were at this time last year. So that's really good. They're coming in, and I'm very confident that we will exceed our projection and will once again break the record for our record for property tax collection. So that's a good thing. The pickleball court, I get a lot of questions about that. We're still trying to nail a date down. We expect that may be mid to late April before they'll begin to do that work. We have some lighting work that we want to do that we're going to get done before they come in and do that. So we'll be looking for that. Porter Park, as you know, working with KOC, and thanks to the county commission, able to do some work there. Weather permitting, that dirt will be delivered next week, so they'll be on site doing that. The fencing has been ordered as well. That's scheduled to arrive within the next week to 10 days. One thing I did want to ask, and Tony Phillip, one of you might know, JR said that he hasn't, as of now, been given a schedule.
I'll give him a call tonight.
Okay.
And talk to him and find out.
Okay, so if we could find out, that would make sure everything is done on our end before they're ready to start playing. The only other thing I have, of course, if you've been out and about, you've seen that we're paving all over town, and real happy to have that work underway. Just want to give you an update on that. Ladd Landing Way is finished. It's been paved and striped, so if you haven't been out to see that, that is much improved. 3rd Street has been paved. Greenwood's been paved. Liggett, Easton, and Manchester should have been done today. I haven't been out to see if those got finished. Dogwood Drive is supposed to be tomorrow, and then Brentwood, Clark, Brown, and Davis remain, and then the striping crews will be coming in to pave those, or to stripe those as well. So other than that, that's making real good progress, and that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the city manager? All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Item 7 is addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the deadline. Did not see any. 8, unfinished business. Item 8 is consideration of the second and final reading of ordinance 2502-1101, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2024-2025. Do you hear a motion for this second final reading?
Make a motion.
Motion from Mr. Brett, is there a second?
Second.
Close that public hearing and for vote on.
Second by Ms. Johnson. Public hearing has been closed. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Do you have any questions or concerns on these two? Ms. Johnson, Mr. Brittle, council? Madam Clerk, call the roll on this second final reading.
Councilmember Britton?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Wynn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Reader?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Aye. Item B is consideration of the second and final reading of ordinance 2502-1102, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee Water Sewer Fund for fiscal year 2024-2025. Do you hear a motion for this second final reading?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anything, Mr. Reader?
No, sir.
Mr. Gwynn? Council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Grable?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Wynn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Reader?
Yes.
Mayor Denton?
Aye. New business, item A is consideration to authorize the purchase of 4.32 acres on Rome Street, map 470, group F, parcel 1.02, from Calvary Baptist Church in the amount not to exceed $250,000. Do you hear a motion to authorize this purchase?
Motion. Second.
Motion, Mr. Reader, second, Mr. Gwynn. Mr. Reader.
I think it's a great idea. Let's go.
Mr. Wynn. Council, anyone got anything?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Brown?
Before we pass to spend this, I've just got a few questions, and I apologize for not being in the work session. Probably every bit of this was considered by the rest of the group. The motion that we're making tonight, are you going to specify where the money's coming from?
Who's that directed to?
I guess to the
Council.
motioner and the seconder, it's not included in the,
Yeah. I mean, unless we're instructed otherwise, I mean, our only two options would be to take it out of the fund balance or to borrow the money. So unless council instructs us to look at loan options, it would have to come out of the fund balance. It's not a budgeted expense, so it would have to, the budget.
and that's what I was getting at. It's not in the budget, so we don't have any money to utilize.
The budget would have to be amended if this is authorized.
And if we decide to borrow money, then we'll have to get permission from the state to make sure that they're okay with payment and the interest rate and go through Michelle. Just things to think about before we jump in and do it. Again, will the state okay it? He's answered my question about we'd have to have a budget amendment. Are we going to buy a piece of property without an appraisal and without a survey?
I think it's on that map, the survey is in it.
I sure wouldn't want, if I was buying a piece of property, I sure wouldn't accept what's in my packet tonight with a pencil thin thing, not knowing where the bounds are at, especially since there's property all the way around it, and to make sure that that slither of property that's coming, that gives us access, is truly recorded as part of that parcel, because it was all purchased at one time all together. Now, I'm just throwing things out there that we need to look at before I think there's a vote to spend money, that those kind of things, that property is valued at $19,000 according to the county, and we offered, what did we offer? 80,000?
Maybe 80.
They've come back with 250. Are we not going to try to negotiate further? We're just going to take, that's good for the buyer, good for the seller, but not good for the buyer. Is the 4.3 acres, is that big enough to do exactly what we want to do with it?
I believe it would be.
By the time you get parking in a building, because I don't know, I think we need a set of long-range plans. What are we going to put on the property? We've heard a gymnasium. Just be ready for the public when we build a gymnasium. The first thing, there'll be a lady sitting right over here that'll be wanting to put a swimming pool, inside swimming pool in it, because she's been promised that by previous administration for years and years and years. For you new members, just remember that 3 years ago that we had a ad hoc committee appointed by the mayor that had the vice mayor as the chair of it, Ms. Humphreys, and several members of the community and the Parks and Rec Board, that I asked David today if they had ever written their final report. We don't think we have that, but that was to do almost the same thing. It's what the mayor charged them with doing.
Yes.
Is finding property and finding a place to build, quote and unquote, a community center with amenities. So, of all the people sitting on this council, I'm probably the most sports-oriented member that we've got, especially for the youth. But I try to treat the city's money like I do my own, and I just think there's a lot of unanswered questions before I can vote to spend $250,000 here tonight. It's not that I'm against building the facility, it's not that I'm against the youth or the sports, but $250,000, that's how much, David, on the tax rate, if we had to increase taxes. You know, it'll cost another $10 million. I'm guessing that's what they told them. That was the report that came out of the ad hoc committee. So, you know, if we scale that down and just build a metal building out there, insulated, and pave a parking lot, how much will that cost, and when do we anticipate doing that? And will we put money aside in our capital for doing that? You know, I know all the departments have done really well in trying to save money. I know that this is the most, of the 21 years I've sat on this council, this is the most fund balance that we've ever had. I give that credit to two people sitting in front of me for allowing that to grow. We've been spending $30,000 here and $30,000 there and $60,000 here, and we've not had to finance anything. You know, sometimes you've got to set back and let that build back up again so that you're back at a $2 million. Remember, we're drawing 4% interest on the money that we've got set aside, so this money would come out of that, which would take almost half of the money that we've got in our surplus fund that we would draw the interest on. So I just throw that out there to you. It's just really going to be hard for me to vote for $250,000 expenditure with no more negotiation. And it appears to me that if I was buying this piece of property for myself or for anybody else, that there's things that I would do before I did this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Johnson, do you have anything?
I mean, I feel like we could always come up with reasons to not purchase property at the city, not spend money and not purchase property, but to grow, I feel like it's a good investment. Could we not still get it surveyed and appraised?
Yeah, I would yield to the city attorney as far as what that process, you know, how we would actually buy it. He might be able to answer that better than I could.
My recommendation would be to go through a title company, let them ascertain whether or not there needs to be a new survey done on this property or whether or not the survey that's previously been done would hold. With that process as well, you get title insurance that would alleviate any concerns about chain of title or color of title.
Which is the same process we did when we bought the property by land landing, correct?
Correct.
Anything else you got, Ms. Johnson?
No, that's all my only thoughts.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts. I like the idea. I know 4 acres, and I appreciate Mr. Brown, all his sentiments and sharing with us, and he probably does share a huge heart for sports, especially longevity. Been in it for a long time. I do have 5 kids that do sports, play here at Kingston. I'm of the different mindset than Mr. Brown, simply because I believe in progress and moving forward. Not many times you can have a chance to purchase property and it go belly up or hurt you. Normally it's an investment. A lot of development investors, that's what they do, is buy property and invest in it. I think you can buy the property and still do everything that Mr. Brown wants to do and accomplish. And it might be time to do a new ad hoc committee to study some other things that we might be able to do as a city for our constituents, for our kids, whether that's a pool, whether that's a gym or whatever it might be. So I know that, I think, Mr. Breville, you and Mr. David, y'all did some negotiating, didn't you?
Yeah, we talked to them and went out and looked at it and everything.
They wanted to sell, my understanding was, they're interested in selling all of it, correct?
They could be later on, yes.
Later on? Because I would suggest, getting it all, not just the 4. I'd go all in and own it all. I think whether you put a gym on it or not, it's good for the city, and plus it's right there, it's good exposure for the city too, so I like the idea.
Mr. Moore?
I think so.
Mr. Redmond?
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions, since I'm new at all this too, So, like, if we vote on that tonight and it passes, we could still do the survey and everything and still not buy it, right?
No, not according to the motion that was made.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing to do would be to amend the motion to do it pending the survey and the title search, which is standard. I mean, like I said, we did the same thing with LAD. And then if all that comes back, if there were any issues with that, we can bring it back to council. But if you did it pending all of those things, then once that did, then the buy would be authorized, purchase would be authorized. So
Did they say how much they wanted for the other 13 acres?
It would probably, not for sure, but I think they were thinking maybe the same amount per acre.
$58,000? It would sure help me if the motion was amended to include the legalities of the survey and the title before we purchase it.
I agree with that.
If that can be done.
Can I amend it to make it worth going on the titles and all that, getting the research and everything?
That's what I made the motion.
Oh,
The motion can be amended though.
He can amend it.
It's like an amendment that we want to do the title search, survey, everything legality wise before we proceed on purchasing this piece of property.
yes.
All right, that's the amendment. Do I have a second on the amendment?
But that would also include an appraisal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have a second on the amendment?
Can you include in that your intentions while we're amending it to take care of where the money comes from?
I think we can make that when he.
Part of the amendment where it's coming. If you're not, I'm going to amend it again. That's what you're
Do all this at once, please.
Yeah, I can.
You want to add that?
I'll add that to the amendment.
to come out of
Come out of what?
to where you want it to come out of.
Oh,
General fund balance.
General fund balance.
fund balance.
Would it be advisable to put it off till next week or to next month to get all this taken care of? So that you know for sure? I'm just suggesting.
Right now, I've got an amendment to the motion on the floor. If there is not a second to the amendment, then the amendment will fail.
Well, read it back.
Hold on.
I hate to be so much trouble.
No, I understood this motion was for us to go into negotiation, not to exceed the 250. I didn't think we already negotiated. I thought we were going into negotiations.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So we've got an amendment on the floor. Is there a second to the amendment? If there's not a second and it fails.
Second.
Second, by Mr. Brown.
Now, what is it?
Madam Clerk, could you read back?
Be consideration to authorize the purchase of 4.32 acres of Rome Street contingent upon the title and survey being completed. The money will be out of the fund balance in the amount not to exceed $250,000.
I have a motion and a second on the amendment. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the amendment.
Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Reader?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye. So that's added to that motion. Now,
Okay, was that just the amendment?
that was the amendment.
Okay.
Now, that motion is amended to, the original motion is amended to what we just passed.
Right.
All right, I also want to apologize for not being here last Tuesday. I have several concerns about purchasing this piece of property for this amount of money. Not against purchasing the property at all. I think it's way higher than what it's going to come back as appraised. There is 170 acres right above us here that's for $40,000 an acre. I just feel like it's more money than what we should put into a piece of property. I'm not against the piece of property. Same way, some odd years ago, I went in against this building when it was purchased. But obviously against the purchase price. Saying that, with this motion, that's all I've got to say on it right now. Is there anything else, Mr. Bowman?
Obviously, the motion would have to be voted on, but would the council be willing to consider maybe authorizing the city attorney to go ahead and have the title search and the survey and the appraisal done, and then bring all that back next month, and then you can vote, based on that, you can vote whether you want to buy it or not?
I kind of felt like that's kind of what this motion did, was authorize us to do that.
6 and 1/2 doesn't.
Right, that's what I would.
We don't have to have a commitment to buy it to do those things, I guess is the point.
No.
But what do we do if, I guess I wasn't too clear for the motion, what do we do if all of those things come back satisfactory, then is the purchase authorized? Is that the way?
That'll be the next.
This would authorize, so if
By this,
it comes back to the clean title and the survey's fine,
right.
then the
By
approved.
this motion, it would say, it would not exceed $250,000.
Gotcha.
Now, the appraisal comes back and it's appraised at 140. And I would think that we would go to the church and say, this is the appraisal and everything we did, we will offer you 140. I'm just throwing numbers out to see what it is. Is there any other questions?
But that's my question too, on the appraisal, is if it comes back and it's way off, it's unreasonable what the church is asking, I think that gives this body, you, Mr. Brell, whoever's negotiating, to go back with a real hard number, but just say, hey, listen, this is where we're at. It makes more sense to me, I mean, using the city's money to say, it's over 100, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the appraisal's gonna help us a lot.
I mean, the motion was to purchase it though, not to negotiate. So if you want us to, assuming that the appraisal comes back less than that, do you want to amend it again to include a range? I just don't know what to do.
I think so. I think we look and see what the appraisal comes back at and see.
Can we also add in the amendment that we have one person doing the negotiation after the appraisal and everything?
I think that's something we would put in effect next month when if it takes,
That's fine.
it may take longer than a month.
So I thought we initially was talking about just making a motion to be able to do negotiations, but I didn't know we were purchasing.
I think that once, I don't know how long it'll take to do this, but it's not like you got people.
I think, I would like, and this is just a recommendation, y'all, it's not my place to tell you all what to do, but my thought would be to vote this motion down and then put another motion on the floor to authorize us to do the work, the title search, the appraisal, and the survey, and then bring that back to council next month and then you all can go with it whichever way. I think it's, as it is now, I mean, once we get all this information back, we're not gonna have clear direction on what to do with it if the motion is to purchase the property. So that's just a thought, but there's probably easily a month's worth of work that needs to be done regardless.
Mr. Mayor, you know that if we're talking about a month for a title company to come in, this is the worst time in the world that you can buy a piece of property. The county is in a reappraisal mode as we speak. Rumor on the street is that there's 30% increases going to hit the appraised value of property in Rome County. What's going to happen when we come back and it takes longer than the courthouse? What if they come out ahead? They're supposed to be in April, is that correct? They may, Molly, let you know anything yet?
Last I was told May, but I think that's kind of up in the air. It has to go.
Well, that's even worse than that's.
Once,
By the time they do all that, when will we get our certified? That's another question.
I'm told that we'll have it in time to vote on our budget, but
Okay.
that's,
But just bear that in mind too, during whoever negotiates, that there could be, a church is the worst bunch that you can deal with because there's so many. If they got 400 members, all 400 of them have got different, I mean, I'm serious, it's hard to get them together. I don't say you ever get them all together to buy or sell anyway. I know the Baptists are that way. Well, I'm sorry, Brother Bill.
I agree. I do think that's why the appraisal makes the most sense, rather than just a group of people that may be or may not be emotionally attached to a piece of property arbitrarily assigning a figure to it. We want the property, it'd be great for the future of the community, but just to arbitrarily go, yeah, we'll pay that, I don't think it's being good stewards of the finances. But at the same time, if we come back and we get a good hard number, it actually may put us in a better position to negotiate a purchase of all of it for a figure that's closer to reasonable. That was my whole point in this, is I think we need to get to an appraisal process.
Mr. Reader, would you like to withdraw your motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Quinn, would you withdraw your second?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Reader, would you like to make a motion that we authorize the city manager, city attorney to do the appraisal, the title search, and survey on this piece of property?
Yes, I'd like to make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Martin. Any other discussion on it? 1 second. Comes back.
Do we need to drill it down, like, for the additional property, if they go with this, just 4 acres that we have the first right of refusal for the rest of the land?
Well, if,
That'd be in the next motion, I think.
Yeah.
Negotiated.
right, I mean, we've not
I see what you're saying.
we've not
Okay.
approached them for that other piece of property.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, we've not approached them for that other piece of property, just this 4 acres that we talked about tonight. Is there any other discussion on the motion?
Let me get this clear. I understand the motion. But this next motion would be to, if it comes back and it's way off, to negotiate, to have the city manager negotiate.
We'll see what the numbers come back at.
Right.
And then we can look at this, to have them go to the church and say, this is what we appraised this piece of property
Right.
for. We will offer you up to.
But we gotta go to them anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Reader?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye. Item B is consideration to authorize a request from the fire department to surplus city property. I think there's several stuff that the fire department has got replacements for. To hear a motion to surplus this property.
Motion.
Second.
Second from Mr. Brett. Mr. Wynn, anything?
Yeah.
Mr. Brett? Council, anything? Madam Clerk, call the roll on the surplus property.
Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Quinn?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yeah.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Reader?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye. That's the end of the agenda, so this meeting is adjourned. Now we'll go into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the beer list?
Member Bradley?
Here.
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Quinn?
Present.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Present.
Member Martin?
Yeah.
Member Reader?
Present.
Chair Neal?
Aye. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes is written.
I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bradley, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Reader. Madam Clerk, call the roll on minutes. There's no business last month for the beer board.
Member Bradley?
Yes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Quinn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Martin?
Yes.
Member Reader?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Are there any citizens that wish to come before the beer board tonight? Seeing none, there is no new business, and this meeting is adjourned. Now we'll go right to the regular scheduled meeting of the Kingston Waterboard. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Member Bradley?
Here.
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Quinn?
You present.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Present.
Member Martin?
Present.
Member Reader?
Present.
Chairman?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes is written.
Motion.
Second.
Any corrections, deletions, minutes? Mr. Quinn, Mr. Brett, members? And clerk call the roll on the previous minutes.
Member Bradley?
Yes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Quinn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Martin?
Yes.
Member Reader?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Do we have any citizens that wish to address the water board tonight? Seeing none, we'll go into the utility director's report. Mr. Howard.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing to report tonight unless y'all have any questions for me.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hamilton? Mr. Bone, you have anything to add?
I don't have a question, but I'll relay one to Kevin before I forget, since that you all mentioned before the meeting. We've done the manhole risers for the paving. There was one on 3rd Street that I was asked about before the meeting, if we might be able to do something with.
Is that a manhole riser, or was that a valve lid? or what
Manhole
valve
riser
lid?
right in front of the jail.
Okay, I'll check it right after the meeting. Mr. Brown said something to me before the meeting started about that, so I'll address it. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Bone?
No.
All right. Thank you guys for that. New business, consideration to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $33,860 for the exterior renovation of the West Ridgecrest water tank. Do you hear this motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Quinn, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Redwood. Anything, Mr. Quinn?
No, Mr. Copy, done it.
Mr. Redwood? Members?
Does this have to be bid, $33,000, or is this, did we increase you to 50,000 on that last
You didn't.
deal we did a month ago?
You didn't increase me, you increased
The purchase value?
the bid threshold's 50,000.
Okay.
At some point, my purchasing authority was extended to 25,000. So this is too high for me to approve, but it doesn't have to be bid now.
Anything else, Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr.
Same
Hamilton?
price looks to me like.
Yeah. Mr. Hammond, do you know how long it's been since we've done anything to this tank like this?
This will be probably the first time that the exterior's been painted on it since it was put in.
Which has been
25
years ago?
Yeah, it's 24, 25 years, something like that. So this, like I told them last week during the workshop, this is just, life maintenance.
Right, oh, I agree, 100%. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Member Bradford.
Yes.
Member Brown.
Yes.
Member Quinn.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson.
Yes.
Member Martin.
Yes.
Member Rader.
Yes.
Chairman Nixon.
Aye. Is there anything else to come from the Waterboard tonight? All right. Meeting adjourned.